Learning a language is very easy, actually. Okay, so this is a video that I came across on YouTube, on internet. So I'm like, let's watch this video. But not only let's watch this video, but let's do a reaction of this video. What do I think about the methodology, and what do I think about the overall video, and what is the useful information that you can gain by watching this video? Yeah, let's get started.
Learning a language is actually very easy. You start off by watching this video right here. Then you stare at this screen. Then you pick a language you have
Okay, so this is Duolingo. I think so. This is Duolingo. Yes, for sure, it is Duolingo.
no business learning. Do one lesson, forget about it, then search up videos about how to learn that language in 6 weeks, made by a YouTuber who learned it in 6 years.
Usually, when you come across YouTube, you'll be finding a lot of see, my journey is obviously, like, I have properly explained that it took me 1 year, and I don't say that I learned it in 6 weeks or 6 months, let alone for me it took me 1 year, and that's how I'm able to teach students on based on 1 year preparation plan. But yeah, there are a lot of people, those who have themselves, they've learned the language all over the time in about like 1.5 to 2 years, depending on how they learned it. But specifically over here we are talking about French, and they claim that learn French in 4 months, 5 months, and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the same thing which I'm able to see. And the other thing is, yeah, over here they say Japanese, but obviously it doesn't apply to us because we are learning French. The only thing is, because the only thing I want to mention over here is that if you're learning a language which has a very different script than normal European languages, for example English, Spanish, and French. If you're learning any other language, for example Urdu or Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, in those cases obviously you are going to do it's going to be a very difficult task. Why? Because over there, first of all, you are learning the script, you're learning each and every letter, and then you have to get familiar with those letters, and then you have to learn words one by one. So learning any language which has a different script is a whole big whole different task. But for French, Spanish, it's already 30% easy. Why? Because we have already seen a lot of new words in English, and the script is exactly same to English. So that's why learning French and Spanish becomes very, very easy.
But if you want to actually learn a language, you have to make sure you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. Sure, if you
Correct. That's very, very true. Like, there should be a proper motivation behind it. It shouldn't just be like, oh, I should watch a Netflix series. I should be able to watch Netflix series, or like my group of friends is Spanish, and I should be able to talk with them. It works, but only if you're someone who has a really big discipline, a good muscle of discipline, but also who has a very big motivator behind it. Usually for most of us, because we are learning it for PR, one very big motivator is a permanent residency in itself. That's why we will have a lot higher level of commitment. That's why I had a very high level of commitment than someone, honestly, for me, I would have never learned French if it wouldn't be for PR. Okay, so that's the same thing that he's trying to say over here.
if you learned a hard enough language, it would probably impress a lot of strangers, and it would probably get you a lot of views on YouTube. Subscribers too. I think some people even make money from it. But if you're a beginner, you should really be picking a language that's easy enough for you to actually enjoy learning it. You shouldn't pick a language if you're going to treat it like a chore. So, to maximize your chances of success,
Oh, see, this is a very good chart. Level 1 in terms of easiness, and level 5 in terms of, it increases in difficulty. So level 1, as I mentioned earlier, Spanish, French, Portuguese, they are going to be one of the most easiest languages to learn. Why? Because the script as well as the words are very common. Like, script is exactly equal, but the words are very much common. Like, if you see vocabulary in French and Spanish, it is almost 30% common vocabulary that you will see in English as well. So that's why like, it's very, very true that French and Spanish is at level 1. And if you say that, oh, learning French is French is one of the hardest languages to learn, it's very difficult, please, no, it is not. If you would be learning Korean, Arabic, or Japanese, or Mandarin, for sure I would say that I'll be sympathizing with you, that okay, yeah, you're learning a difficult language. Or even for German, I'll say like, okay, yeah, I understand. But level 1, French, Spanish, so there are no excuses now.
here's a chart of some popular languages ranked by how much time it takes for an English speaker to learn them. If you're not sure what language you should start learning, I would just pick either Spanish, French, or Portuguese. Not only are they the easiest for English speakers, but many countries speak one of these as an official language. I don't know why, but it's probably just a weird coincidence.
Yep, there we go. Countries that have been under European control, colonized or controlled by Europe. A lot of these nations, they already speak English. Why? Because you guys know why.
However, if you do want to go for a harder language, it is possible. Just remember to ask yourself, do I really have the right motivation? For example, wanting to understand anime is not going to motivate you to learn Japanese for more than a day. However, my friends speak Spanish and I want to understand them is a pretty good motivator because that's probably why they made a group chat without you. Some people have to take a language class for school, but that by itself is not a great motivator because your finger might slip and you might accidentally paste all your assignments into Deep L. However, the British invaded my country and I need English to survive is the perfect motivation to start learning English. And so far,
Yeah, in our case, obviously French, it's for PR. So this is actually a very good motivation to learn French. So you guys should, whenever you guys start having this doubt in your brain, like I don't really get motivated to learn French, I don't have enough motivation. Like there is a very big motivation to learn it for your permanent residency. Why? Because on your permanent residency, your future is relying right now. So that is why I don't understand when people say that, I don't have enough motivation to learn French. Like it's one of the major factors when it comes to improving your life. PR is one of your major factors. So you really have to consider it seriously.
it seems to have been a huge success. So now that you've picked your language, it's time for the easy part, which is learning it. Usually, people on the internet will tell you that the fastest method to learn any language is to get a language partner, or a tutor, or a friend who's willing to sit down with you and talk to you like a baby until you start picking up words and sentences.
Yeah, not that practical because see, if 100 people are learning French, only 2 or 3 people will have enough privilege that they will have a French friend who can speak with them. And not only you must have a French friend, but he or she should also be supportive if you're learning the language. Like I still remember when I was working learning French, there I had a couple of colleagues who spoke French, and I told them, hey, I'm learning French and this and that. They appreciated it, but they were not really I couldn't just ask them to give their time to me just so that I can learn French. So practically some things are not really possible. Even if you have a French people at your workplace, like only if he or she is your very good friend, then you might be able to start the conversation with them, and he or she may be able to sit with you for 2 to 3 hours on a regular basis to make you speak. But again, this is a method which doesn't really work. Why? Because in order to speak something, you still need a strong base of the language. Because right from day number 1, if you start speaking with someone, he or she will get annoyed that because you don't know nothing in the language, so how can you really speak anything, because if you just don't know anything in the language. So that's why it's very important that you set up a strong foundation first. After 4-5 months into your learning journey, for sure do this. If you have any French friend, tell them, would you be able to practice with me for 1 hour if possible, something like that. Then they might be able to help you, but in the beginning, not at all recommended.
And while this is probably the fastest way, it requires human interaction. So instead, here's a method that you can do all by yourself at home to become fluent in a language. The first step is learning the basics. This is actually a very easy step, but many people try to skip it by doing 1 or 2 Duolingo lessons. Other people get stuck on the language learning side of it.
Alright, so let me tell you, a great advice is starting with a textbook. As I already said on my in most of my videos, you should be starting with the grammar. You should start understanding the structure of the language. Why? Because it helps you to understand how language functions, and it helps you clear out the basics and the rules in the language. Alright, otherwise it becomes very difficult. You cannot just memorize the vocabulary and hope that you will start speaking sentences slowly and steadily. No, you really have to understand the theoretical part of the language as well. However, you shouldn't spend too much time on it. Okay, we'll come on to the video very soon. But yeah, this guy is really resonating to what I preach in my language learning methodology as well, is that we first have to start with the theory, but it's also important to switch from theory to practical as early as possible once enough theory is understood.
YouTube, watching 138 videos about how to...
Yeah, please don't watch these videos, how I learned French in 7 days, how I learned French in 2 months, 3 months. It doesn't work. See, you don't know the behind the scenes of this particular person. You don't know behind the scenes of, did he actually took 3 months to learn it? Was he really sitting 12-14 hours on daily basis? Did he actually took 13 2-3 months to learn language from the beginning, or did he had some previous experience before. So there are a lot of things which we are not clear about. People do different things to get more views on social media. And see, I'll be honest, even I do, like if I have to upload a good video, I want my videos to get more views for sure. That's a very natural human tendency, but you should really be able to differentiate between what is lie and what is truth. Okay, and that is a logical understanding that you have to build, which I leave it up to you. I won't really say names or say something like that, but if things feel too good to be true, they probably are.
Learn Korean, none of which include a single word of Korean. But the whole time, all you really had to do was find a beginner textbook for that language that has practice exercises for you to do. It might take you a month to finish the whole thing, but the progress you'll make is equal to about 2 years of Duolingo, or about 12 years of school in America, and you can find.
Okay, so the progress that you will make is going to be almost equal to 2 years of practice from Duolingo, and this is this couldn't be any more true, because the more you learn from textbook, the more depth you understand of that particular language. All right, and there's something which is very, very important. Duolingo. See, again, I'm not saying that Duolingo doesn't work, but it's only for supplemental learning. That means if you are probably sitting at work, or if you are probably in the bus, you have 15-20 minutes free, sure, open the Duolingo and start doing some practices. But you shouldn't really consider Duolingo as a learning resource. It's just like the app in itself is very slow, like the language progress is very slow, and it's very repetitive. Like it's just going to annoy you more than just than helping you learn the language. So whenever you are completely free, for sure, make sure to use Duolingo and stuff like that. But other than that, you should be focusing on a grammar textbook. In our case, it's going to be French textbook.
Free just by Googling beginner.
French grammar textbook.
Then the language textbook PDF. And there you go. You could also just get them from the library, or as they say in France, the library. The library. Isn't the library fun to say? Imagine if you Googled it. Once you finish the beginner book, it's time to practice listening.
Purchase a book, purchase a physical textbook, go on Amazon, purchase a French book. I've already mentioned which books to buy. I'm not sponsored, I'm just like recommending the books that I used while my practice.
You don't even have to worry about speaking right now, because first, you need to learn what the language is actually supposed to sound like.
There we go. If I have to pick one of the best lines from this video, it would be this. You don't even have to worry about speaking right now, because you won't be able to improve your speaking unless you know how the language sounds. And in order to know how the language sounds, it is very important that you start practicing listening. A lot of people, when they're at beginner levels and they just want to improve their French, and I see the comments on YouTube as well and on Instagram as well. Oh, I'm on beginner level, I'm A1, A2, how do I work on my speaking? I'm not able to speak anything. It is natural. You won't be able to speak anything at beginner levels. Why? Because first of all, you don't have enough comfortability in the language. You don't have enough exposure to the language. Also, you don't have enough idea on how the language sounds. What is the correct pronunciation? Which can only happen if you indulge your brain into intensive listening practice. Okay, your brain slowly will start building up it will start absorbing the patterns of pronunciation of the language only if you listen more. And once you listen more, once you keep on listening slowly, our brain is beautifully connected that whatever you listen, you will try speaking it in that way as well. So this is how you passively and slowly work on your speaking as well. All right, so you shouldn't worry too much about speaking when you're just starting your language learning journey.
The easiest way to do this is by watching YouTube videos in that language.
Yeah, this particular channel is a piece of French. This girl creates like French vlogs, and I used to listen to this channel as well when I was practicing my listening and overall, French when I was improving my French. So yeah, I would recommend this. Really useful. And do not watch English to French translated videos. Like just watch complete French vlogs. Okay, that would be a recommendation. But again, after completing some grammar. Okay, not if you're a complete beginner, you won't be able to understand anything in French. So my recommendation is complete some grammar, complete some vocabulary, learn some vocabulary, and then start watching listening videos. Slow down the speed.
The idea behind this is that you're not going to understand everything, but by looking at the video and using context clues from what you do understand, you can slowly pick up the language without even realizing. This works especially well because every language only has a few thousand words that are actually used in regular conversation. So over time,
another one of the best things to understand. Let's say English has these many words in total. Obviously there's not the exact number, but let's say in English there are these many words. We don't need to learn, or we don't need to be master of all those words to learn the language. In regular life we just need to know about 2000 to 3000 words in order to be able to speak. Okay, it's something called lexicon of the language. Okay, when we are speaking we only need about 2000 words in total in our brain in order to speak. When we are writing we need about, like, obviously more than 2000, but somewhere around 3000. And when we are reading and listening, then because our brain is passively reading the sentences and listening to the sentences, then it's not that we need them. It's like over the time we have acquired almost 7 to 8000 words subconsciously in our subconscious brain. That's why reading and listening works differently than speaking and writing. So yeah, when we say words people actually use, they use it during speaking and writing.
Few thousand words that are actually used in regular conversation.
Yeah.
So over time, you'll start recognizing the same few words and phrases in every video you watch. And you can really pick anything to watch, as long as it's interesting and you can understand at least 30% of it. If you put on a video and it sounds like gibberish, it's not your fault. They're just talking too fast. This is probably because they're trying to gatekeep their language. Do not let them do this. To fix it, just go to the YouTube search bar and add the magic word easy. And just like that, you get
in Easy French YouTube channel, something that I really recommend. So yeah, you guys watch this, make sure to watch this.
Served up a bunch of videos that you can understand. Automatic captions also help a lot because you can rewind and look up the words you don't know. There are even websites like Reverso Context where you can look up a word.
Come on, guys, come on. All the resources which I already mentioned. So you guys, this is stuff that really works.
Word or phrase and actually see it used in a real sentence. But whatever you do not turn on English subtitles.
I don't have $1 million to spend on camera.
Learn Japanese, for example, watch anime. This is not a bad way to learn Japanese, but people who turn on English subtitles will just read the subtitles. And even though they think they're learning Japanese, in 5 years, all they'll have to show for it is this profile picture and the
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why when you're listening to French videos, why do you have English subtitles on? And I'm not saying French and English subtitles together, that is okay, that works. But like if you're watching a French video or a French series, having only English subtitles on is like, it's illogical. Because see, if you want to improve listening in French in any way, at least you should be able to read in French what he or she is trying to say. Okay, otherwise if you have English subtitles, only English subtitles on, then you're not really connecting the written words with the sounds of the words. So why do we really do this? And I see a lot of people do this. They want to watch like Netflix series, Le Lupin, like whatever that series name is. They'll listen the audio in French, but they'll have the English subtitles on. I mean, like, it's illogical to do this. Okay, so when you're listening to anything in French, make sure to listen as well as read the subtitles in French. All right, slow down. If something is very quick, slow it down, not an issue. And again, the goal is not to 100% comprehend everything. The goal is to pick up the context of their conversation.
Discord Nitro subscription. But luckily, you've been using subtitles in the right language, and you can now understand at least 70% of everything you watch. It's time to unleash step 3, which is speaking.
Yeah, now is when speaking comes in, alright?
Start speaking, just keep watching YouTube, except now, you pause after each important sentence and repeat it out loud, or at least whisper it. Try to pretend like you're having a real conversation with an actual person, and even think of different possible situations where you could use the sentence. Whenever you find a sentence that sounds really useful, write it down in a notebook. You're probably never going to look at that notebook ever again, but it's nice to get some writing practice. Now, at any point in this entire process, once you feel ready to start speaking, sit down and record yourself talking to a camera, and just talk about your day, stuff you did, stuff you're looking forward to, and even ask a couple questions to the imaginary person on the other side. If you ever forget how to say something, fill it in with English and move on.
Yeah, one of the best speaking advices, if you want to improve your speaking in any language, you first of all watch a video. If you feel like you are a beginner in speaking right now, whatever video you're watching, pause it, read that particular phrase, speak that particular phrase, live, and then kind of like practice in this way. This will help you to work on your pronunciation. Why? Because you are first of all listening to that phrase through the video, and then you're trying to speak that same phrase to yourself. Okay, so this will slowly work on your pronunciation, but also it will build more comfortability with that particular with the particular vocabulary and the overall phrases that you're using. The next step would be to pick a particular topic and start speaking on those topics. Okay, now this comes in when you have almost finished the grammar and you have started reading and listening. You've got a little bit more comfortability with the language. That's the time when you can pick the topics, like as he mentioned,
Other side. If you ever forget how
talking about the days, your day, what activities you did, what are your plans for the future, stuff like this will really help you to kind of start formulating basic sentences in the language. And if you're forgetting any particular formulation, if you're not able to formulate that sentence in French, then you just fill it up with the English word, so that later, once you have saved and once you have watched the recording, you are able to figure that out on reverso. Okay, je voudrais parler to my friend. What is to my friend? Let's do reverso, à mon ami. Okay, and then you restructurize je voudrais parler à mon ami means I would like to talk to my friend, and then you learn it in this way, and then you repeat those recordings, like try to record yourself again and again. So a great way to practice your speaking in this way. You don't need to have a speaking partner. Okay, if you feel like you're not able to find any speaking partner because you live in a province where there are not a lot of French people, or you just want to do it all through self-study, this is the best way to practice your speaking, and it actually works. Okay, it actually works. Why? Because I myself have done the same thing, so it really works.
how to say something, fill it in with English. And
Now, obviously, see, just to be clear, obviously you will definitely gain more confidence if you are speaking with a native person, but that's like a best case scenario. Okay, we still have to play our best cards. Like if you are still not able to find any native speaker, you still have to practice your language. Okay, so doing this practice will set a strong base for your speaking, and then talking to a native, like obviously taking proper French coaching once you're around B1 B2 level and speaking live in class, that would be one of the best ways to make your speaking go fluent. Why? Because then you will gain more confidence when you're speaking with a group. And if you're interested into French programs, just make sure to follow the link below to get started. All right, let's continue.
move on. Later, you can watch the recording back and look up whatever you didn't know how to say using deep L or reversal context. To an outsider, this might look like a lonely way to learn a language, but if you've ever heard someone say they're self-taught, this is exactly what they were doing.
Correct. Okay. The reason why I resonate to this video a lot is because I exactly followed the same things that he has been mentioning. All right. As I already mentioned, I was self-taught. I used to practice my French by recording myself. Like I can show you the proof as well if you guys would like to see. If you go on to my YouTube channel, let me just show you over here. Hope this is my new video, make sure to watch it. But apart from it, if you go on to my YouTube channel and if you go on to the oldest, you will see that I have created a lot of these videos, which I used to just upload speaking on a particular topic. Okay, so there's something which really worked for me and it helped me improve my speaking. If you see the speaking over here versus the speaking in this video, like you will see a tremendous improvement, and it just happened in like 3 to 4 months when I started doing it. Obviously there are more videos which I have saved it in my computer I didn't upload on YouTube, but just generally mentioning you, this is something that I used to do myself as well.
And that's all there is to it. If you keep reading about the language, watching YouTube, and talking to a camera for long enough, you'll become fluent without ever having to talk to an actual person. Congratulations. But one day in the future, you'll probably have to travel, and you'll eventually have to talk to native speakers. And all you have to do is just learn the culture and keep up with the politics. For example, if you ever visit France, this is what you might expect to see, but what you'll actually see is hundreds of French farmers driving their tractors into the capital to form a blockade. If you stop a Frenchman on the street to ask what happened, he'll just tell you that this is a normal day in France.
Alright, so this was the video. I think that's all, and a great video. I would recommend you guys to check out this channel, but check out this video specifically as well, because it's going to open up your eyes. A great presentation in the format of simple animation, and it's nice to watch. Learning a new language is easy actually. So learning French is easy actually. You just have to follow the proper techniques. So au revoir. We'll see you guys in the next one. If you're interested in Frenchify programs for TFTCF Canada, make sure to see the description. We'll see you.